Dustin Young, Lone Roamer. Today we're going to work on installing the Zamp solar system to this Yakima setup that I threw on the truck. This Yakima setup is temporary, so I didn't really do a review on it. I'm actually using it, and then a buddy of mine is going to take it. So the one thing that is going to stay, there's going to be some bits and pieces when I go to do the solar install on the camper. I'm getting a Superpacific Camper. Then we'll talk about the parts needed to do that. What is going to stay are these Yakima HD 68-inch bars. They are going to be what sits up on top of the camper. There'll actually be a third bar so I can have the sup rack up there as well. But it takes 2 bars, and then what I'm going to install today, we'll see how far I get. We'll just keep working through the day. But right now what we're going to do is we're going to work on installing the 2 Legacy Zamp panels. The reason I chose Legacy and not the Obsidian series is, 1, Zamp stuff is made in the USA. I love that. That's why I'm using it. 2, the 170 watt panels are available and are a really good size for this project. So they're about 26 by 56, I think, give or take. I'd have to measure them specifically, but somewhere in there. So I'm going to mount them running lengthwise this way across the truck, and there'll be 2 in here. So I've got to make sure this distance is right. I need this to be about 54 inches total. Right now it's about 55 and a half, so I'm going to make some adjustments there. You're going to see that. We're putting on 2, so I'll have 340 watts of solar, or around 19, like I think it's 18.8 amps of charging capability. Currently I have a dual battery system on board, the Tundra. The new Zamp charger controller is capable of charging 2 battery banks. I'll put the part numbers to everything in the description. Let's get started on this build. Hook onto one of those. We are 56 and a half, so if we go, let's see what we are to the other flat edge to flat edge. We are almost 59 total, so if I go 58 and a half, I'm going to be good, and I'm not going to clear out. All right, so I'm going to make each one of these 58 and a half inches long. I'm going to do this right here, a little crowded, but I know I need these to be 58 and a half. I went to Lowe's, I bought 1/8 by 1.5, so this piece is quite a bit bigger and it should be pretty rigid. As long as I don't cross this line, I'm really close. I think I've got clearance once this goes to camper. If I don't, I'll have to figure this out some more, but for now it's super rigid, everything sits up there nice. So the wife's out here helping. She's over there somewhere. Here she is. And we've just got the panels on and the cardboard off. I forgot to turn the camera back on for that step. What I have to do from here is I have to set my gaps, and I'm going to set the gaps on this end, which will naturally leave some gap here. I'm not sure you need a gap here in a lot of ways. I think bolting this together wouldn't be the worst thing you ever did. But what I've done is I've taken the cardboard that was on it and cut it into pieces that'll run the length that you, if you have a cardboard width, I'd imagine you've got plenty of gap and you're not gonna have to worry about hitting the frame anywhere. We're in.
Yeah, it's a little looser on this side. But
well, let's set them back as far as they can go. That does leave me just a tiny gap right there like I thought. Now, I can't guarantee that this thing is perfectly square. The Yakima rack, that's hard to tell. But I do have it's tighter on this side, so it's probably not. I'd have to tap this back a hair, which wouldn't do any good now because everything's bolted up. My plan here is I'm gonna leave these touching. It actually worked out. My plan here is I'm gonna take and get some more of these nuts that they use. They were already installed, or I'd show them to you, but they're just clip-in, you know, clip-in slot nuts. I'm gonna get some more and clip them in, and I'm gonna take and bolt this together in the middle. I'll get those from Zamp, and that way I don't have to worry about it. I'll probably just get a bunch of extras in case I want to ever add anything under here if I feel like something's not right for rigidity. I did not round these corners yet. I am going to, because it's in the truck and I don't want somebody catching one of those and getting themselves a whole lot of stitches. So even if they were a snitch. All right, all that's good. Okay, I'm going to figure out where to drill inside of here. So what'll happen is I'll drill, and then I'll mark, and then I'm gonna drill. The wife will hold the panel up so I can pop the holes in, and then we'll bolt these down and they will be in. Cannot wait. All right, so get my Bono glasses off there. It's hot out here. Whew. Sweating. She caught this nice and flush. It was a great catch. We've got these touching, these almost touching. They're just slight gap, which is sort of was the goal once I bolted it together. I have nice gaps on either end here. It's hard to tell, but I got, that way if there's any movement, it shouldn't be. The camper's gonna be pretty rigid, but what I didn't want to find out was that I ran into any problems in the process, and that I ended up pinching something. So this is now in a super rigid structure. Super happy with the way this came out right at this point. Next steps are going to be finishing touches, knocking off those corners so they're nice and round, maybe shaving off and changing out some bolts. Again, hard to get. That's what we talked about earlier. Couldn't find them for the square head bolts for the Yakima system. And then start wiring through the truck. I've done it before. Everything, when I had the Go Fast camper, that wiring, those ports are ready, so I can just sort of wire through. But right now, I need one more wire before I pull all my wires. Hope you enjoyed just getting the panels up all right, the instructions out. I know it was hard to see some of this because of the camera angle, but you know, Zamp stuff, it comes with all the right hardware. I'll get links to where I bought my stuff so you can figure it out, and you'll be able to, if you want to use other bars, it'll work the same. The point is just making sure you get the right aluminum so it doesn't flex, and you get everything in place that gets this all set up. Well, spent the time getting the wiring in. I'm going to use a lot of pictures to show you that, 'cause from a camera perspective, I don't really have a camera that would work great. I tried to use the GoPro mounted to the chest. You just can't see enough. It's not worth it. So I'm going to talk through it a little bit and just pictures. There's actually a grommet in the cab of the truck. It's on the back of the cab, between the bed and the cab up probably a couple inches. You'll see it. Wasn't that hard to push through, and electrical will run right through it. It was great. That actually goes into sort of the empty space in the cab at the rear seat. I did it on the driver's side of the vehicle. You could do it on either side. And then you go up there, and there's a drain tube that runs through, so there's a plastic knockout block. I knocked that block out, half of it. I wish there was a better way to knock that block out. I'm not super happy with that. I might work on that. I might try to find like a little some kind of small, really sharp handsaw that I can reach in there and try to take a little bit more of that plastic out. It's pretty clean. I spent probably an hour trying to get rid of every possible problem, reaching in there a space about this big with sandpaper and trying to sand that bad boy out. My hand still hurts a little bit, but you know what? Hey, don't need to be damaging any electrical wiring. You come up, it's where the seat belt and all that stuff mounts in that pillar. Come up through there, take the plastic off, ran the wire through. You can see you can run it nicely in the channel. Same thing going to the front, then it goes under the carpet and over to the charger controller. What you can see is, in the Tundra, there's this awesome spot for your charger controller back where your vents and everything are. There's a really nice gap in there. So the charger controller, you could put outlets, all kinds of stuff in there. It's a big empty plastic space. They really should have done more with it. I mean, it's a huge back seat. You'd be able to charge things, plug it in. They should have put an inverter in this vehicle and a charging system right there. I mean, the 4Runner has an inverter in it and charging plugs, and the Tundra is a much more utilitarian vehicle, so I'm a little surprised there. The other thing is, in the bed of the truck, I went through the wall of the bed. It's under the deck system, so I couldn't really take a picture. I had previously put the hole, there's a grommet in there to get the wiring out. I think I'm going to change that actually and come up the pillar into the bed, and I'm going to cut out some of the pillar, and I'm going to find a way to mount an Anderson plug so that you can just plug the camper and unplug the camper, and if you ever want to take it off, you just lift it off, and you don't have to figure out how to unwire that system. That way it's just a plug and it's easy to manage. So I'll get a video of that. The other reason is I'm going to put in a blocked Anderson system somewhere so that the camper, everything plugs in that way, so it's simple to manage. And then I didn't put the second battery bank in. You'll notice that goes under the deck system. I'm still working on the battery, so I'll do something completely separate. The wiring's ready to go. It's just that's not done. In a dual battery system, one of the things you really want to make sure of is to put the wiring on correctly from the charger controller to the batteries. Make sure you have, if you have one battery, positive, negative, simple. If you have two batteries, positive on one battery, negative on the second battery. If you have three batteries, positive on the first battery, negative on the end battery. So the middle battery will just be wired to the two in series, right? So just make sure you do that correctly no matter what you do, because otherwise it's not going to charge the bank correctly. You could ultimately just be charging one battery even. So, make sure you follow that. Zamp's really awesome. They have a pro account. I do search and rescue stuff, so super cool. I actually got a pro account. I did buy my panels on Marketplace because somebody just happened to be selling the exact kit. They bought it for their Airstream and couldn't use it, so I don't know how much luckier I could have gotten there. I got a really good buy on it that way. I saved almost half. The last piece is I'm working on my lithium-ion batteries. If anybody says, hey, I'm thinking about just doing Battleborn, I'm looking for American-made lithium batteries. If you know of any, please put them in the comments. One of the cool things, I have a Switch Pros that's going in the camper. So one of the reasons I have a Switch Pros already in the truck. I was able to separate some wiring. I love this camper, this Superpacific that I'm getting, because the solar will go on it, and the second battery bank will actually, that Switch Pros will run everything that comes off of that, inverter and all. And now the truck cab forward is all run off its own Switch Pros. That's something else I really love, that I'm super excited about making the change to the Superpacific from the Go Fast camper. Go Fast, I was gonna figure out how to build all that inside myself, and Superpacific already did, so that's one of the main reasons I made a change. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the solar. You know, there's a lot here. I'll make sure and write up a pretty good description of the install in case you're interested. Of course, you can use different brands. I love American-made stuff, so I chose Zamp. It's a little more expensive because of it, but you know, it's worth it to me. And the Zamp panels are really amazing panels. You can tell the quality difference. I've seen like Renogy in those, and they're not bad panels. You can just tell the quality difference, and what I think will last a lot longer, withstand maybe more punishment. And then they provide excellent wiring and a really nice solution. So if you're interested, check out Zamp. If there's other systems you can use, the idea here is just knowing how to build a system and what you get. And what I love about this is they make these 170 watt panels, so 2 panels gives me 340 watts. It's expandable to 510 watts and like 28 point something amps, so it can be expandable the way I've got it up to a 30 amp kit. So if I decide the e-bike charging and all that takes even more power, I could slam in one more battery and I can slam in another panel, and I don't have to change anything else. I just have to wire that panel to the port. So I think that's pretty cool all on its own, and it gives you a way to really manage this solution well. Tell me what you think. Do you have a better way that you could have figured out how to put solar on the truck? Hope you're having an awesome day. I look forward to seeing you out on the trails.